Hey, everybody. Thanks for downloading another episode of the Black and Gold podcast brought to you each and every week by Boonshine Brewing. They're doing everything that they need to do to make the high country a better place and to make Boone shine. And we've got some awesome new specials this week, and you're going to want to try them all. The Greek flatbread topped with mozzarella, garlic oil, artichoke hearts, olives, pickled red onions, and feta cheese, savory, fresh, and packed with flavor. And then the Ruby Harvest Bowl, a hearty mix of brown rice, quinoa, kale, goat cheese, apples, roasted beets, and almonds, all tossed in a rosemary vinaigrette. And then potato and leek soup, a cozy bowl loaded with potatoes, leeks, onions, and garlic, served with a fresh Stick Boy baguette. Perfect for warming up on these chilly days. Come see us this week and grab your favorite or all three. Of course, I think I'm definitely down with the flatbread. Not much of a salad guy, and we got called out, I think, on it's either Twitter or Instagram for our soup takes.
I had some people ask me about the soup takes that we had, and it's how we always say people will text us after an episode. And they're like 3 weeks behind, and you're like, man, that is a lot of shows ago, a lot of sleeps ago. And you're like, wow, okay. I guess I hope maybe it was Instagram. I don't remember seeing what those soup takes were, but
Instagram.
Interesting.
It was. I think it was a hashtag because some people are befuddled by the AI slop artwork, which I think is hilarious that it's just AI, just nonsense, which I agree it is nonsense and slop. But someone put hashtag, I think it was just I think it was hashtag bad soup takes.
Bad soup takes.
I was like, bad soup takes, and I was like, what? And then I realized, I remembered we talked about soup, of course, on the show. And I think
what's great about that though is like when someone puts in a comment like that.
Yeah.
It's like that's a click right there, right? Someone's like, I need to know what they said about soup and what soup are we talking about?
Yeah.
So thanks for the engagement farming there. Is that
that's right? That's right. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I think we both landed on the side of if you're gonna have soup, it's got to have a healthy bit of protein in there. You can't just go in.
I'm not just here for water, broth, and salt. And pureed tomatoes.
We're not in a Soviet prison camp. We need a little something else.
we need some beans and meats in there.
That's right. We can throw something else in there. No, but hey, listen, if you like soup, if you're out there and you're listening and you like soup, I don't want to take that away from you. I don't.
No, we're not.
I just don't want it for dinner.
We're not taking it away.
Not taking it away. That's exactly right. So another week here. I cannot believe it. It is conference basketball time, just right around the corner. We do have a little bit of regular season basketball in front of us, but I mean, it's all but here, and we're going to be talking about that. We have so many things to talk about. We have baseball, softball, tennis, wrestling, men and women's basketball. It is the true. I mean, in football, obviously, we all get excited about football and whatever. It's football, volleyball, and then basketball starts. That's crossover season. This is the real crossover season where it's just everything is ping ponging all over the place. And but we are excited about coming down the home stretch. We are currently tied for first place. Well, no, I don't think we're tied. I think Marshall has first place because of the tiebreaker, right? So they're
sure, that in the world of if the season were to end today.
Yeah, correct. Yes. Yeah, if it were to end today. So, but that's why those tiebreakers are important. That's why you got to win your at least split with your Eastern opponents. And it's gonna come down to with whoever wins and loses or whatever is those wins against Troy and South Alabama are going to come in mighty handy here at the end. Hopefully we get that 2 seed, at least a 1 or 2 seed. But a top 4 would be enormous. So we're going to talk about all that and whatever else comes up. I was at Sean Clark's funeral last week, so I did not get to attend the basketball games in person. So Charles, I'm going to have to lean on you for some in-game basketball experience because I wasn't able to enjoy the atmosphere as much. down there with a lot of folks. A lot of folks been on the show, a lot of players, a lot of coaches. It was a good thing, but real excited about postseason basketball here that we get to talk about. So before we get into our Olympic sports too much, I want to go ahead and thank our sponsors for our Olympic sports coverage. That's Styles Roofing. For those of you in the greater Charlotte area, 704-842-1874 is the name you can call or text to reach App State alumnus Billy Styles to get your roof checked out or replaced. They are the best in the business. They don't get paid up front. They only get paid when the job's done and you're satisfied. They work fast. So be sure and check them out if you need a new roof. And Community One Insurance, if you want to save money and get some better service on really anything that you have insurance for, give them a call. They are the experts, and they're brokers. They're going to go out into the market and find the best policy and the best price for you, not just from one carrier. That's important to know. 828-455-2335 is the number to call or text. And also check out their website, communityoneInsurance.com. They do a great job, and they're going to save you some money. They're already working with some Black and Gold podcast listeners, so why in the world would you not take advantage of that? So, Charles, where should we start here? I'll go ahead. Well, let's start with tennis. I think we did last time, and that went well for us. It looks like Savannah Data Maskell and Taya Powell have been named the Sunbelt Women's Tennis Players of the Week again. So Savannah has been the recipient of that award a couple times already this season, which is really great. We do drop our last match to we'll see here. Okay, we faced Austin Peay and Wake Forest this past weekend. We lose both. Okay, our matchup against Austin Peay at home, 3-4, and we are in Winston on Sunday morning. It looks like at 10 a.m. That's crazy, and we lose 2-4 as well. So we're on a little bit of a 3-match skid here, 3-5 overall on the year, and we are traveling to Stephenville, Texas, to play at Tarleton State, and then the very next day go to our old stomping grounds, Charles, at UT Arlington to play the Mavericks. So that's what's going on with tennis.
Yeah, not much more to add. The singles play kind of let us down against Austin Peay. We got the doubles point in that match. And then against Wake Forest, we fall 2-4. And I am loading. We are loading and scrolling.
Loading and scrolling.
Savannah won. Excuse me. We got the doubles point in that match as well. Both the number 1 and number 3 doubles won. Savannah won her match 6-3, 6-1, but that pretty much did it. We lost all of the other singles matches. So the depth had a little trouble there, but looks like that number 6 singles game, which we were leading, did not finish due to those other matches being taken care of. Had some tough ones. Number 4 singles was 6-4 in the second set, and then the number 3 singles was 6-2, 5-7. So right there, could have extended the match. So that's how that went. And they, like I said, you've mentioned who they play next. So yeah, there we go.
We got to be. Hey, it's a revenge match against Arlington. We got to take out our old nemesis, UT Arlington, and just show them that we still don't want them around. Going off in the softball here, softball's just having a friggin' start.
Good tear. Good. Yeah. I mean, good start to the year.
11-2. The Tar Heel Invitational here. An unbelievable showing. We sweep Princeton, play them in 2 different games and beat them. We beat Rider 9-3, and we take North Carolina, which always has a good softball team. We take North Carolina to extras. We do end up dropping that game 3-5. But played the Tar Heels tough, and again, this is just it's just our second loss of the year. I think the only other loss we've had was against UNC Greensboro. So 2 losses, Charles, come in extra innings. That's playing competitive even in losses, and we have a really tough challenge in front of us. The Tennessee Invitational, where we are playing North Carolina Central twice, Tennessee twice, and Penn State. Both Tennessee's number 1 program in the country, and Penn State right now is ranked 23rd. So Charles, we're doing great, but we have some stiff competition ahead as well.
After that game, North Carolina was 13-0, so they have not lost this year, and so that speaks to what the softball team and the coaches have done. To start this season, like you said, very competitive. We scored 2 in the 7th to force it, and then they get a couple in the bottom of the 8th, walk off fashion. So unfortunately, couldn't pull through, but. Man, 11-2 is a great start, and we'll really get to see who we are this weekend, and see where we need to go. Going forward, because 2 games against Tennessee will be big, and North Carolina Central was. We were supposed to play them this past weekend. That one got canceled. The Sunday match, or game. I'm assuming to snow or time or whatever, or just the ladies getting up the back up the mountain. I'm not real sure, but. We'll see them again, those Legal Eagles.
Legal Eagles. Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge. But you want to do that. You want to play these hard games early in the year, and just to see where you stand. It's going to be tough. Softball. It's tough. It's a competitive deal, and Tennessee's really good, number 1 in the country. Going over to baseball, I tell you what, the Diamond Sports doing really, really well out of the gate. Obviously early here in non-conference season, and baseball, they're not really able to stack up as many games on the weekend as much as softball. Softball will play 4 or 5 games in a weekend. Baseball, they're not doing that quite at volume, but still doing really well. Got a 4-game win streak here. Only loss to Duke, February 17th. We end up sweeping A&T on the 2 games that we had against them, which is great. And then we beat Southern Illinois 9-8 on Sunday. And then we faced on Wednesday yesterday, when we typically record in the off season. We go to Johnson City. Now, we don't always win in Johnson City. It's always kind of a tough deal there.
Yeah, it is.
We win 8-5. So baseball's doing well as well.
Yeah, lot to cover. We, this, like we said last week, the schedule was going to get moved around a little bit due to the weather, which came in quite dramatically. So we, instead of finishing the weekend in Boone on Sunday, we started in Boone on Friday afternoon, and it was gorgeous, mid-50s day with sunshine. That was a great early spring day, and it was obviously a fake spring day because then we, we're forced off the mountain to finish the series up against A&T, getting a run rule in 7 innings. That's nice. Always good to see. And then kind of a tough game against Southern Illinois where, if I'm not mistaken, we went up early and kind of had to hang on toward the end. What was that total there, AJ? I'm trying to remember. We were up like 5 or 6 runs, I want to say. These box scores on App State Sports are huge. Kind of hard to keep track of. It's a whole lot to see. Just getting adjusted to that. We went up 8-2, and then gave up 4 in the 7th, and then they scratched another run across in the 8th and 9th and forced us to walk them off with it ended up being like an infield single to third base. From Joseph Zamora. They all count the same, though. So a really good start to that weekend. And then, like you said, something about Johnson City. I don't know what it is. I mean, if you've ever – I don't know why, but we've never played well there. Like, I've seen some games that are like we just got, like, beat pretty bad. And then they'll come back to Boone, like, later in the year. And it's always like we play them early. And then it'll be like one of our last non-conference games of the year, right? Before we start like those last 2 weekends where we don't play non-conference games. And it'll be like, well, we're just thinking really about what we're doing over the next couple of weeks. And it doesn't seem to be as important of a game like they are now. And then we'll have some ridiculous walk-off, home run or like a 4-run comeback or something like that. It's always funny how different these two teams play each other. At different times of the year, different times of the season, being these Blue Ridge rivals, if you must. But, what we've really seen, I think, a lot of, we're hitting the ball well, we're getting on base, and, like, we're getting the hits. And and maybe we've given up a few runs, but like we're really limiting like these big innings and these opportunities for the other team to score. Like I think that's really evident in some of these box scores where, you know, teams may get 5 runs, but it's like on 5 hits. Yeah. You know, and you know, we have walked a few. Like for instance, you know, on Wednesday, we did not walk once as a team. Yeah. And we still got 8 runs and 12 hits. But the other part of that is we only struck out 3 times.
Yep.
Right. But we walked 8 of their batters, and that's how they got 5 runs. Yeah. But then we also struck out 13. So it kind of balances each other out. It's kind of wild to see a 0-3 on one side and a 8 and a 13 on the other. And then you do the math together and you see why those things were the way they were. But just kind of like what Southern Illinois did, like on Sunday, like we get those insurance runs late in the 8th and the 9th and kind of stave off any threat from ETSU. So a really good start to the season. Gardner Webb will be a test. That'll be our first true, you know, road series. Even though we've been playing Hickory a couple times, it's like, you know, you got to go down there and you're going to be in a hotel. You got to play Friday night and Saturday and then Sunday afternoon. And so that'll, you know, and Gardner Webb has an okay record, but their RPI right now is like incredibly high. It doesn't make sense to me at the moment, but we'll see how good they are. They've always given us a tough test down there as well. Had some tough losses down in Boiling Springs.
Yeah.
Whether it be a whole series or a random midweek. And then obviously next week before we record again, we'll host Wake Forest next Tuesday. I'm sure the weather will be perfect on Tuesday afternoon.
Very welcoming for sure. I gotta say, you know, knock on wood, right? There are a handful of dudes on this pitching staff that are doing a really good job throwing strikes and attacking hitters. Gage Peterson looks real good. I gotta say, Max Tramontana. Or Montana, whatever, however you want to pronounce that second A, however you want to do that, it's totally fine with me. But he's doing a great job. I mean, these are guys. So it's super early in the year, but we only have 4 pitchers that have pitched 8 innings or more, and each one of them has either a 0 ERA or an ERA in the mid 2s, and that's really encouraging to me. Now, you could say, yeah, but who have we really faced? I totally understand that early in the non-conference year. I totally understand that. But we had a big problem attacking the strike zone last year, and we had a big problem walking batters and just getting high in the pitch count and messing around. And seeing early on here this year us attacking the strike zone and being aggressive, that's something that Kermit talked about. That's something he talked about wanting to do and having that kind of personality on the staff, especially with the new pitching coach. That's very encouraging to me. Do I expect these guys to continue to have ERAs in the mid 2s? No, I don't. That's not how college baseball works. I understand that. But I do expect, Charles, it's kind of one of those deals where, you can't control, your athletic ability. You kind of have what you have, but you can control your effort and your attitude and you show up on time, all that stuff. I think with pitching, you can control your attitude and your approach. And you can't always control what kind of stuff you have. I understand that. Totally understand that. But I think Kermit would agree with me. I think sometimes, even if you don't have great stuff, your composure and your poise and your attitude on the mound can help get you through some at-bats, just playing with the batter and just showing that you're in control and showing that you're going to be aggressive and attacking, even if you don't have your best stuff. I mean, that happens. That's a real thing. So we need our arms, man. And I know I'm biased towards the pitchers, but we need our arms to pick us up this year and be competitive in the Sun Belt. So I hope I didn't just waste all that breath and we not do well this year. But I do like what I see so far. Kudos to the guys that are out there throwing really, really well so far this year.
I mean, we played 8 games. We got 93 strikeouts and limiting opponents to 203 batting average. Yeah. I agree with you. That's not going to hold up throughout the entire year, but that's a good start. And they're getting there's been a lot of pitchers who have thrown, but not a lot who have thrown a lot, which is, I think, really good. So we're not going to be tired at the end of April going into May at this rate. Now it's still early. It's been 2 weekends, but we fingers crossed that we keep that kind of same path. And you keep hitting you keep hitting like 284 as a team. That's a good start. You keep hitting, we've hit a few home runs, averaging 1 a game. That's good. A little bit more than 1 a game, limiting opponents to just 4 over 8 games. That'll keep you in ball games. So just keep doing the right things right.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And let's move on to wrestling here, where we can talk about the SoCon champ App State Mountaineer wrestling squad, which is awesome. It's kind of like those old school football titles that we got to split with the Citadel. We didn't really split with the Citadel, did we? But Chattanooga and Citadel, we're splitting the conference championship, but it is a championship. And I got to tell you, man, I went and because I saw we had beaten Gardner Webb to secure it. I was like, that's awesome. And so I went and looked at the final standings. Dude, I saw Campbell was 1-7. Last year they were like 7-1. I was like, what in the world happened to Campbell? They were terrible this year. So I don't know what.
You got to remember, they decided to cut a lot out of their wrestling program as far as like scholarships, and I think that's finally this year was the year it caught up to them.
Yeah,
because they were 2-20 overall. It's not like this. The SoCon had a great year. They could beat anybody.
Yeah.
So it's kind of happened to them, unfortunately, and
yeah.
It's almost mimics the basketball standings. Really, everyone's half the conference is tied at the top.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, so congrats to Coach Bentley. I know that was it not. Yeah, it would be next Thursday or Friday. Is that right? When the conference tournament begins, I believe. So we'll actually I'm gonna look that up real quick while we're.
I got it right here.
Okay, when does the conference tournament start?
Scrolling. No, I'm kidding. It is next week. It's the 6th and the 7th.
6th and the 7th. Okay, cool. In Asheville. Good deal. Well, best of luck to the Mountaineers as they compete and to see who wins that tournament. But again, just another ho-hum. 7-1 and kicking butt in the SoCon. Just another day at the office, I guess, for Coach Bentley. So proud of him and in that squad. Ladies basketball here. So we basically are in the bottom 4 seeds. There's nothing that we can do on Friday that would change that. We're playing obviously for pride and to beat Old Dominion for senior night. But as far as because we're ending the season, regular season, or rather we're coming into the final game of this regular season on a 3-game skid. Yeah, the conference schedule has not been what we wanted. 4-13 so far, and like I said, we're securely in the bottom 4, so we'll be playing that first day on Tuesday, March 3rd. But Charles, it doesn't really matter. I really want to see these ladies go out with a win, especially these seniors. So I think OD is in the middle of the pack as far as their standings for the ladies. So I don't know, kind of ruin their weekend. It'd be kind of cool. But yeah, that's what we got going on for lady hoops.
Yeah, it's just been a tough year. It's just every game it just feels like they're right there, and then they just can't figure it out in the end or in the middle of the game or whatever it may be. But Georgia Southern handled us pretty easily last night after going out on a run out of the half, and just we couldn't recover from that. I was coming back from somewhere, and like Georgia, it ended up being where, we scored 9 points in the first quarter. They outscored us 22-10 in the third, and then kind of had some slugfests, in the second and fourth quarter, and it's just turned out to be what it was. They hit shots, and we just don't recover from them. It's when other teams go on runs, it just gets us pretty bad, and a real tough one. Last week, with losing at Coastal, we really had a chance at that one. We trailed coming into the fourth quarter significantly, but held them to 8 points. But once again, it's something that we've had to battle back from. You go down 18-6 after one, and you're fighting for the next, 30 minutes, and it's a long time to fight, but a valiant effort trying to come back. But yeah, the ladies will be playing that one of those opening games.
Yep.
More than likely. They're locked into the bottom 4. Cannot catch Texas State. So
yeah. Also, I'm just looking here at the standings here. Georgia State was 4-4 in conference at one point and lost 9 in a row. That's brutal.
That is, the epitome of pain right there.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty awful. That's pretty awful. Now let's go to the men here. Again, we said it last time. This is like I said, I was at my son and I both attended Sean Clark's funeral down at UCF. It was really great. It was very well attended. They were having to still continue to add chairs as we got close to the ceremony, just because people kept pouring in. It was really great. Scott Frost spoke, and he should have. He's one of the speakers, and he did a great job. Noah Hannon spoke, and Danny Hope, who Coach Clark coached for, is his first position coach job under Danny Hope at Eastern Kentucky, and coach under him at Purdue. And who was it? Edward Graham from Samaritan's Purse spoke. His sister spoke, which was really, really sweet. I think I want to forget something. It was really good. Reggie Hunt did a prayer at the beginning, and then his pastor from First Baptist in Blowing Rock prayed at the end. Anyway, it was really good, really, really awesome. It's still, I mean, heart-wrenching. The 50-year-old man passed away, and it just kind of reminded you, like, just everybody loved this guy. What an awesome dude Coach Clark was. So we did that. We very loyally on a Thursday night in South Florida watched that Marshall game. It was one of the most frustrating things. I mean, it's frustrating being in person, but like you feel like I can't contribute to the energy right now. Like those 2 steals under the basket or whatever, and that number, I think it was number 6. I think that true freshman for Marshall, just crushing us at the very end of the game. Just absolutely drove me. I don't think I've been as mad at a basketball game in a while. Let's just go ahead and talk about that game, that Marshall game. I mean, that was something that we were just trying to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. Is what it felt like. It was unbelievable.
That's the kind of game that Marshall plays. You never feel like you have control when you play them. And to see us come out and both teams like just put on a ridiculous offensive performance, and it just lasted the entire game. So Marshall is not gonna pretend to play defense. They are going to pretend that they don't know what the score is, and they are on a race. And their coach may have not said this or anything, but this is the way I take the way they play basketball. They're on a race to score as many points as they can in 40 minutes. Yeah. Not all teams play like that. So when they're playing themselves and not you, they play the game differently, right? So they play, I think it's an NBA style. It is up and down. It is shoot threes. And it is make things. Now, the most frustrating thing about this game, more than anything, was how quick the referees were on the whistle.
Oh, man.
And so that really had an impact on this game. And the biggest part about this is that, when you look at the box score and say, well, Charles, we only got called for 17 fouls. Well, the majority of them were in the first half, and they were all piling up on the guys that like make a difference for our team. So when you go out there and you play 7 or 8 guys most nights, and then you're forced to play 9, even just for a short period of time, you're taking the flow away. Yeah. And that's essentially what happened for Kason Jennings, is that he got 2 quick ones early in the first half, sat for a lot in the second, toward the end of the first half, but that got him out of the flow of the game. Much like one of Marshall's favorite or best players, Wyatt Fricks. He got called for fouls, and he was completely taken out of the game. He only played 18 minutes. He's one of the best players in the league, and it affected the way he played. He had a plus-minus of -12, which was the worst plus-minus of anyone in the game. And then they still tried to put him back in the game late and see if they can get him going, and it just didn't work. It almost backfired completely. But when games like that happen, you're going to have someone who doesn't play as well as some of these other guys, or it's not one of your most dependable dudes like this Landon Joseph decide to just absolutely hit anything and everything from any spot on the court, and he's just feeling one.
Yeah.
And, he scores a game high 24. Jalen Spears going to get his. He hit a few threes. We got the free throw line. He scored 24 points, but it was okay because we had taken one of their better players out of the game. Mm-hmm. The only problem was they had a guy come off the bench and didn't miss a shot, and he scored 15 points. But those are a meaningful 15 points.
Yeah.
We just didn't make the plays when we needed to keep them at bay. Alonzo played the entire game. He played 40 minutes, but 19 points, but 18 of those were in the first half, I'm not mistaken. So it was very evident he was tired late.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not putting this on Jalen Todd missing the free throw with a couple seconds left. That's not what this game is about.
Yeah.
It's about what we gave up. It felt like that. Like I kept looking up the scoreboard and it was 60-47. And I kept saying to myself, it's been 60-47 for way too long. Like we are giving up possessions and we are keeping them in the game, even though that lead was double digits. But it's crazy because, this game was tight throughout, but the fact that we blew a 16-point lead, even though it was in the first half, really hurt. And the fact that Marshall only led for 3 minutes and only led one time, it was one lead change in this game. It really hurt. And it felt like at that moment in time that we could have been giving away a piece of the conference championship, like a regular season title.
That's exactly what it felt like. I hate saying that too because
it did feel that way, and coach kind of knew it. And we lose the tiebreaker, which at that point in time could have had a major impact. But then all the teams that we needed to lose lost on Saturday.
Yeah.
And we won, and it kind of brought everybody back together again. And now we have this ridiculous scenario that is almost too much to even discuss because of how ridiculous it is. You cannot sit here and say if this team wins, that team wins, whatever. You can just say, look, if we win, we get a share. No one can get to 13 conference wins. Several teams get to 12. A lot of teams could have 11. We're in that group. And yes, those tiebreakers, like you mentioned, against Troy and South Alabama, are going to be very helpful. And what could potentially be a tiebreaker over Texas State could be very helpful. Mm-hmm. That'll keep us toward the upper half of those teams that may tie. And there's going to be a team out there who's going to have the wrong results, at some point in the season. And it's like they may be in position to be, say, third, like a third seed right now or a second seed. And they may lose 2 rounds over the course of the weekend, on tomorrow night, Friday night, that they have to play more next week. And that'll be a major difference as far as how this tournament's going to shake out. I know I said a lot there about that basketball game and what the impacts were for this upcoming week and what sets the table for basically tomorrow night or tonight, Friday night, when we play Texas State and everybody else plays at the same time.
Yeah. Man, I never thought I'd want Georgia Southern to win something so bad, but I do.
You're never in a good spot when you have to be in that position.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, it was just, man, it was frustrating. We've missed off the top of my head, I could think we've missed 6 home basketball games this year to things that were, you could say, it was my choice to go to Florida to go to Coach Clark's funeral. I mean, that was my choice. So I'm missing it out of choice. So whatever, you can count that as whatever, but that's kind of extenuating circumstances. Illness kept us away from 2, just fevers and viruses. And then the weather change for Louisiana and Monroe, them advancing those games. So I was watching that Marshall game and just beside myself, just wanted to jump through the TV because we're such a great second half team. We're usually the ones closing that out, especially at home. Mm-hmm. And man, I feel for Alonzo. I agree with you. I don't think you put that on Jalen Todd at all. We gave that game away on the other end. And credit that kid. I don't remember his name, the freshman. He hit 2 of those shots late that were just guarded perfectly. He was on it. And what do you do? Anyway, it was so infuriating. But those are the moments. So I told this to Maddox and I told it to the people that we were staying with down there. These kind of games make you hate who you're playing more. And I hope that fuels for every time we play them. That just makes me mad. They swept us in this year. Now listen, they played a great game in Huntington and we weren't going to win. They were hot. Should have won this game. Absolutely should have won this game, and we gave it to them, and it just makes me mad. It makes me hate them a little bit. And I don't really feel hate for Marshall right now in my life, but I do now. Their basketball team for sure. So
they were photo shooting themselves on our logo, like at midcourt after the game. That should be enough. They thought they won something huge on Thursday night, and those are the images that kind of get burned in your mind. But then it's on them to follow it up on Saturday. Yeah. They could have it wrapped up last weekend, not to wrap it up.
That's right.
Play on the coastal, play in front of nobody, and lose one.
Yeah, no, we were. So we'll talk about the Georgia Southern game here. By the way, how was because we called everybody out basically saying like, how are you not going to these games? How was the attendance on that Marshall game to your memory?
The Marshall game was good. The student turnout was good, and they were into the game. It was probably one of the better atmospheres of the year, if not the best. And I thought that was a good response. Now there was a lot of promotions and stuff like that. You can't burn all those all at once, but they were in it. It felt like when you walked into the gym on Thursday night, you're like, this feels like it's going to be a big time game. You felt like this is like something was in front of you,
and it was,
and it was right. Yeah. And I don't know if it came through the television or not, but it did.
No, it did. How about Saturday? We're going to talk about the game, but how was the crowd on Saturday?
I mean, the crowd, the Saturday crowd was probably the best Saturday crowd that we've had all year.
Okay, so we finished strong.
It was senior day. The students kind of a little late arriving. It just depends when you take the picture. In your mind, you're like, you look over, it's like, hey, whatever time it is, and you're like, man, they're not here yet. And then all of a sudden, you look over, it's like, all right, they're here. It's tip off, and they're here. Wasn't as boisterous, and I think that's probably because I think a lot of people felt the same way. Like that losing to Marshall the way we did, how we did, kind of like really took it out of you. Like it was one of those losses that hurt the next morning as well.
Yeah,
and so you're not really as geared up or as juiced.
But you got to go back. You got to go back and get revenge, though. I mean, that's what the students got to learn. You got to go back and You got to go back and set it right.
Georgia Southern's not going to hand it to you, know.
No, you need to get the bad taste out of your mouth. You need to go take care of it.
And that was a good game. It was tight throughout. That Georgia Southern game, and we kind of got the right turnovers in the last couple of minutes and stretched it out. Got some easy buckets and some dunks and stuff like that, and really turned that into a much bigger margin than it really was.
Right.
So I was proud of the team for that, to kind of answer and get a 15-point win. And playing Marshall and Georgia Southern back-to-back, that's kind of like how you want to do it. They're very similar in the fact that defense is optional when you play these two teams. And that's kind of the way that shook out. And, we had two big halves and a bigger second half. And we limited everybody else for the most part, except for three guys. But Georgia Southern was having a good night, but we held on, and they really what it came down to is they just didn't have an answer. For Jalen Tott, he was throwing it in the ocean. We didn't really shoot well from three the entire game, but what we did really well the entire last week is hit free throws. Even if free throws were part of the narrative of why we didn't win one of them, Luke Wilson went to the line a lot and hit them. Alonzo Don responded. So, we had those opportunities. We were really good, at the basket. And I think that's what it came down to, and had some balanced scoring throughout. Aaron Banks played 28 minutes, got 13 points.
I saw him on one of those highlights. He was staring down his dude there on that dunk at the end. He was a little
Tyron Moore is a little bit of a talker, and it was fun watching him and Alonzo talk all game long. And Alonzo always he's the nicest junk talker there is, because he'll be smiling at you.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Oh yeah,
really fun.
We listened. So that was when we were on our way to the service at UCF, and so we got to listen to Matt Present's broadcast, his pregame, and we stayed in the parking lot and listened to the first half. It's kind of close. We were winning, but it was going back and forth. There were some hot streaks here and there. App went on that big run. It was like a 15-2 run there in the middle of the first half because they were up on us for a little bit, and so we went ahead and went in. I didn't want to be that guy to keep checking my phone or whatever, but we were sitting there. I don't remember who was speaking. I really don't in the service, but I got on my watch. I got a text notification, and of course, it's like a natural reaction. Like you look at your watch, and I looked, and it was from Henry Stout. Shout out Henry for he's probably listening to this. But all I got was boom! What a way to end it! And I was like, all right, we won. So it's a little icing on the cake there. What he was referring to was that exchange there towards the like a minute and a half left, where it really got out of control. A couple steals and a big dunk, and then going back and forth, and that's really what extended it. So that was a good way to put icing on the cake. And I loved that Kermit and Dustin both. Kermit wore the 61 jersey on Saturday, and Coach Kearns wore the 61 pin. And I tell you what, those are true Mountaineer. This is what we said from the beginning, though. Like Kermit is a true app guy, even though he's not an app guy, like not an app graduate. Same thing with Dustin. Like those dudes doing that. I mean, Coach Clark doesn't. He got fired and he's whatever. But they get up there, and Dustin in his press conference said, "A true app guy, like a true Mountaineer, like." That's just like, that's the way you do it. That's just the way you do it, and honoring your friends. And that was awesome. So shout out to the coaches for doing the right thing and honoring a guy on the Davis funeral. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Like many, not everybody could have been there. I'm sure it was an amazing event down there.
It was good.
Hard to be in two places at once.
And
I, as I told my friends, because I considered it, when we knew this was going to be the situation, we were like, well, I'm not going to miss that. And then I just thought to myself, where would Sean want me to be? And that's where I went with it. And I'm sure he would have been like, man, you could watch that game.
Wow. He told us different things then. I guess we got cross signals from the afterlife. I guess we got different smoke signals, I guess, from the Traeger grill.
And maybe that was intentional.
No. Yeah. You know what? At the end of the day, it was a good weekend. Emotional, but it was good. Got some wins, or got a win, I guess, for senior day, which is good. And, playing Texas State on the road. I mean, really need a big win here. Got to do it. Got to put it away. If we don't win outright, if we don't, if we're not sitting on number one, we need to at least get in that top two and really put ourselves in a position to, play in the tournament. I mean, that's why we do it. That's why we play. So
it's going to be interesting to see how many teams in the Sun Belt get to hang a banner saying they're the conference champion in to the 25-26 season, because everyone with that record at the top will have that opportunity to.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what these large conferences afford. Is that when you don't have these like one or two teams that are head and shoulders better than everyone else, and you've got a lot of parity, and you're going to have seasons like this, and especially when you have a couple teams like a Monroe who struggled all year and like they're guaranteed wins to everybody. It's just going to make that middle and that top so much closer.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else? Do we got anything else to talk about?
I think that's it. I mean, we've hit a lot of sports. I don't think we left anybody out.
I don't think so. I don't think so. So, all right. So we're gonna wrap up here. Thanks to our sponsor. You know what? Forgot to do this. Totally forgot to do this. So if you're listening at the very end, we don't have special guests. Don't have the satchel. And it's been a rough week. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough it's been a week. So Blue Deer Cookies, downtown Boone, downtown Blowing Rock, in West Jefferson. It is the best place to get a hot drink, best coffee in Boone in the high country. Get yourself some sweet treats. We thank them for sponsoring the show. And also Mountaineer Mania, 497 West King Street, for all of the best Appalachian State athletics gear and tailgate supplies, outdoor stuff, coolers, whatever you want. It's there, and it's great. High quality. I buy stuff from, this is where I literally eat eat my own product here. Like I shop at Mountaineer Mania and I love it. It's a great store. So go check them out. And remember, when you shop at Mountaineer Mania, part of your purchase is going to support Mountaineer Athletics. And we really are very honored and proud to have them sponsor the show. We're really hoping, it's been a rough February. We're really hoping to get some guests here in March. Chip Buckwell's trying to book some coaches for us on Twitter. So I always appreciate Chip doing that for us. And but anyway, so I want to wrap up the show. Thanks to Boonshine for sponsoring. And until next week, where hopefully we could talk about some good seeds and some sweeps. Go Apps.